You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging out with you guys with a little end of week recap. Hope you guys are having a great week. It's probably Friday by the time you guys are listening to this. I'm shooting this Thursday afternoon, and our week is kind of winding down here, but really the season is just starting up. So the reality is that after this podcast, I'm going upstairs to make a whole bunch of phone calls, start selling work. We got a couple bids I got to take care of around town and, make hay while the sun is shining, right? On this episode, I just want to do a little weekly recap and talk to you guys about a couple different topics. One is talking about customers that are, maybe rebuttaling a few price increases. I've heard a couple conversations about that. We've had that too. I got some great ideas and I just wanted to share with you on that. Talk to you guys for a quick minute on the Jobber Professional Day, a little recap from those guys. And then just talking about being grateful and thankful for the fact that we're able to be working right now. Super exciting times. And we've had like an early spring again up here in Michigan. So it's been absolutely crazy, but you know what's been really crazy? The last 48 hours, seeing all the reposts, the shares, the nuggets, all the information that people have learned from the Jobber Professional Day, which was this last Wednesday. So we're going to kick it over to Marty, Mr. Producer. We've got some other exciting announcements that Jobber wanted to have us share with you guys that I think you might be interested in.
Oh, you're right, Brian. That Jobber event was stellar, but this news really gets me fired up. We here at Fullerton Unfiltered are just thrilled to tell you about Boost by Jobber. This is Jobber's new $100,000 grant program to help launch, grow, strengthen small home service businesses just like yours. Now, you guys, you're out there every day. You're doing great things for your community, and Jobber wants to support and even spotlight your work through this Boost grant program. Now, here's the deal. You're invited to apply for grants ranging from $1,000 all the way up to $20,000 simply by visiting boostbyjobber.com. Just take 5 minutes to fill out the application. I think it's just a couple of questions. And then in August, they'll be announcing 20 recipients of the funds, whether you're seeking to add some new equipment to your setup, you need marketing dollars. We all need that. Maybe you're launching your first year in business, or you want to do some team training, or just, need financial relief. Then please check it out. I'll throw the link, of course, in the show notes. Despite how essential your services are, they're just often underserved by existing funding programs or traditional bank loans. Now, home services haven't been getting as much attention as retail and restaurants here over the last year, but you guys are essential, and Jobber is working hard just to change all of this and would love for you to apply for a grant today at boostbyjobber.com. That's boostbyjobber.com. Need professional-grade yard shoes or landscape boots for you and your crew? Visit CujoYardwear.com and use the promo code Bryans10 to save 10% and receive free shipping. Now, back to the podcast.
All right, good deal, guys. Well, Jobber is always giving back to the lawn care landscaping community. That's a fact. And, here's what I'll say. Anytime a company gets behind producing content, sharing content, sponsoring a live event, the Hype House, all that kind of stuff, the idea is for folks to get together, including a lot of you guys, and to make content to help people grow, a more successful business, a more successful life. I'll tell you what, live events are not cheap. Renting a house is not cheap. And doing a webinar series where you bring Gary Vee in, hello, that is freaking awesome. By the way, if you guys don't know, Gary Vee charges like 6 digits to public speak. So when it comes to your real estate convention or your, small business leader convention or your local chamber or whatever, or, some huge conference for business entrepreneurs, 100, 200 grand for that guy to speak for an hour, hour and a half, which is just crazy, crazy awesome. I mean, I think he's worth it, and frankly, we have a budget for our speakers, and we pay with lotto tickets and Reese's peanut butter cups, because that's our budget. So we made a decision when we started doing our live event a few years ago. I said, well, do we want to do tickets for like less than 200 or do we want to do tickets for 2,000, right? And I said, if we do 2,000 and 10, 200 people show up and we got a couple $100,000 for a bankroll, we can get those kind of guys in. And Andy Frisella, a Gary Vee, so on and so forth. But the reality is that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, I didn't have $200-300 laying around to go invest in a conference, plus hotel, plus travel. You guys know how it goes, right? So instead, you guys get Brian Fullerton, Caleb Allman, Keith Kelvis. So just having fun. Those guys are incredible business leaders and industry leaders, right? But long story short, I just really appreciate Jobber coming up, to bat here with providing that event for everybody, that webinar series on Wednesday. I've seen the reposts. I've seen people with their notes and people were just on it all day. Maybe you were stuck inside for a rain day. Maybe you took a day off for you and your guys and you just said, hey, we're going to have a professional development day. We're going to watch this thing, get some pizzas, get some lunch, and just hang out and hear what these business leaders have to say. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what it cost Gary Vee to do a webinar because, it's not like he has to travel. But I'd still imagine that it was a hefty paycheck and a hefty price tag. So it's really cool to see Jobber get behind the industry to help people grow. And if you guys don't know, Jobber is a customer relationship management software tool. It's a way for you to run, track, manage your business. There's LMN. We use one called Jobber. We don't use Jobber. We use Yardbook. Love Yardbook. That's what's been working out for our business for the last 4 years or 3 years now, and absolutely love it. But anytime these companies get behind live events or bringing content or just experiences to you guys, I'm extremely thankful. I'm extremely grateful. They don't have to do it. And so it's really, really cool to see what they did with that Jobber Professional Day and the new promotion they have going on right now that Mr. Producer was just talking about. What I wanted to continue piggybacking on was talking about the fact that we're always learning in our business and we're always trying new things. We're always growing. Well, we sent out all of our rate adjustment letters with our loan agreement forms. And to be honest with you guys, we increased rates pretty significantly. Everybody went up anywhere from 11 to 15%. Which in dollars and cents is about $3 to $4 to $5 per weekly cut. Okay. It sounds significant, up 10, 15%. We're talking $3. Okay. So if your lawn bill was $120, $130, $140 a month, now it's $150. Okay. Like we're not going to break the bank specifically, but you do get a lot of people that you take care of as customers and they look at things as percentages, right? Because why wouldn't you? Percentages or decimals. I mean, the whole conversation of statistics is actually a fun conversation. If you look at the root word from statistics, you look at what statistics, what the state is designed to communicate. Statistics are an interesting conversation. They're an interesting topic. Actually, it's a really fun, nerdy topic. But for me personally, I know statistics can be used for you. They can be used against you. And really, I can come back at your statistic with another statistic to prove your statistic wrong, right? I mean, that's the conversation. So here's the dollars and cents. Here's how it works with customers. I had one call us the other day. We were driving back up from Ohio after hanging out with the Almonds for the afternoon. Just grabbed some lunch with those guys, and it was just really good to see good friends. And so we're driving back, and customer calls me and says, "Hey, we were looking to renew, but my rate went up from $30 to $34." He goes, Brian, that's like a 10 to 15% raise or increase in the price. I only get a 3% raise per year at General Motors. He goes, this is crazy. And I said, hey, I totally get it. I totally get it. The feel felt found, right? I understand how you feel. I felt the same way when I saw my prices increase. What I found is that I'm actually not making any more money by raising your rate. To be honest with you. So here's the conversation I have with these customers. Hey, to be honest with you, that is literally just recouping my overhead costs. That's just from the labor rate increases, gas prices increases, and small business tax increases that are going to be happening. I said, to be honest with you, I'm not making any more money cutting your lawn than I was last year. So this is really just a blanket price increase. And here's what you guys sometimes, you can have the conversation with customers and be real. Like, it's not always this like facade of like having the guru answer. I just leveled with him. I said, hey, let's call him Matt. His name is not Matt, but I said, hey, Matt, can I be honest with you? I said, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for this. I don't know what else to tell you. Gas prices are up 200% in the last 75 days. Okay. My small business taxes are guaranteed to be raised. So are yours. I said, and they also printed $7 trillion of stimulus money. Okay, that money devalues the current money that's out there. So your $5 gallon of milk is now going to be $7 or $8 for a gallon of milk. I said, and by the way, it doesn't matter what end of the political spectrum you're on. You guys can all, have your opinions. I have mine, right? We all do. Let's be mature about it. But the reality is that it's not going to change the fact that prices are going up. Okay, if you print $7 trillion in a money supply of $50 trillion, okay, you're going to devalue the money and things go up. Like lumber, for example. I built my dump insert and I needed 2 pieces of 12 by 1 by 12 foot, pine pressure treated. It was $50 for a board. So it was $150 between, wood and materials to make just double high-sided boards. And so lumber's up 100%. Everything you look around, gas is up 100%. This is up 100%. When you print trillions of dollars, and by the way, that was you're not even seeing the other 1.4 trillion or whatever that was just approved, the last couple of weeks at the time of this recording. That's all stuff that you're seeing from the last 12 months. Okay, so when the next stimulus all hits and all that money gets devalued even more, man, look out. So if your prices are not going up, you are 100% going backwards. And that's what I told the customer. I said, hey, Matt, to be honest with you, lawn care, it's not a $25 service anymore. I hate to say it. I said, my costs are my costs. I totally get it. I understand where you're coming from. The reality is that I'm networked with all the buddies in my area that do lawn care and landscaping. And their new minimum weekly price is $37, $40, $42. And I just leveled with him. I said, because here's the reality. If he cancels with me and wants to go with a different guy, now he's got to learn a new guy's practices, a new guy's services, new guy's trust, new guy's billing system. And so that's a headache. That's an inconvenience. That's kind of the feather in our cap to keep him with us. So I'm kind of hoping to leverage that inconvenience of him having the switch. But I told him, I just educated him. I said, I took 2 seconds. I wasn't like, hey, Matt, that's my price. Deal with it. I said, no, dude. Hey, Matt, I totally understand. Like, I didn't vote for this. I don't know what to tell you. There's trillions of dollars getting printed. The money's getting devalued. I said, my prices are up. And the reality is that all of my other friends who are contractors, we all talk. We're all facing the same, situation with our materials going up, our labor going up, so on and so forth. I said, Matt, I can't even get a guy nowadays to trim grass or cut grass for less than 15, 18, 20 bucks an hour. I said, so I don't know what to tell you. I apologize. I said, hopefully they give you guys a little bit more than a 3%, this year or next year because of what's going on. But, hey, and you got options out there. I totally get it. If you find somebody for cheaper and they're licensed, insured, and do a good job, hey, I'm a consumer too, Matt. I get it. Right. So it was interesting because you went from like, this is ridiculous to, hey, thank you for educating me. Hey, thank you for helping me understand. I totally get it. And even if we both disagreed politically, which I don't know if we did or didn't, it doesn't have to go to that. But I just took 2 seconds. I said, hey, like, honestly, I'm not making any more money. I have my profit margin I want to make. We know our numbers to enough to know what I need to be making per man hour with me and my guys, my crews, depending on the setup. I said, I know what fuel's doing. I understand what our labor costs are. I understand what our workers' comp is going up. I understand my costs enough to know that, Matt, I'm not making any more money on what we're currently offering. Now, I also said, hey, Matt, it's $4. I said, respectfully, it's only $16 a month, $20 a month for us to take care of the property. I understand it's a 15% increase, but we're talking $4. I said, for the cost of a Starbucks, that's the difference per week that your lawn maintenance is going up. Now, if you're buying a nice house or you're building a home and your lumber cost is going to be, 100% or 200% increased, right? And it's going to be, I don't know, 50, 100, 200,000 for wood, and now it's 2, 3, 400,000 for wood. Like, that's a significant conversation to have. That's do we build the house? Do we not build the house? And you guys might imagine I'm having those conversations right now. So it's absolutely crazy. And by the way, that's with the current, money going on. It's crazy. It's ridiculous crazy. For any of you guys building out there, building pole barns, I see you guys on Instagram. I talk to so many of you guys day to day. It's just crazy what costs of things are. And the point is, if your costs aren't going up too, it's going to be a really hard conversation to your wife and kids, why you can't go to Disney this year, why you can't buy a new car. So educate your customers. It's okay to tell them, hey, lawn service, it's not a $20, $25 thing anymore. If you want to get the Rick's Mowing or Chuck in the Truck, as my friend Paul references, that's fine. That guy is going to always be out there. It's, God forbid, 25 years from now, there's still a guy out there doing a lawn for $20. I mean, like it's just interesting. You know what that's also has us doing right now? Evaluating the landscape. We're looking at different work that we can get into, things that have higher profit margin, different neighborhoods, just, always branding and marketing our customers our business as next level so we can attract the right customers. When we do bids for different sites, we're very, we're asking more questions. We're probing. We're like, hey, how's business for you guys? Like, oh man, things are tough. Well, you might want to get paid every 30 days or less, right? If they're like, oh, we just landed this sweet account or contract and business has never been better. We're getting this this contract from the government, this contract for whatever. Well, okay, well, maybe 30 to 60 days is fine on the bill payment, but just have those conversations out there. I didn't mean for this whole thing to go down an economics policy talk, but and again, however you believe is however you guys believe. I'm a lawn care small business owner. I'm a pretty conservative dude. I'm trying to just take care of me, my family, and provide content out there to help you guys take care of you and your family. And look, I've come from both sides of the political spectrum. I grew up one way. I'm a different way now. I see both sides. It's funny. You take those different tests, and I actually come out pretty moderate. Shocking. I'm pretty conservative on some things, a little liberal on some things, but overall, just don't take my guns, right? Just having fun. So that's what we're doing to help customers that might have some challenges with prices. I saw Caleb Allman on Instagram. Maybe some of you guys saw this. One of his vendors and suppliers raised prices 6% on everything across the board, and it was effective immediately. Well, you take 6% on your irrigation supplies, your mulch supplies, your this supplies, your that supplies, your fuel. Again, there's a rising tide raises all ships, but there's a rising prices raises all prices. I don't know if that's a new one we can work out. Somebody more eloquent can wordsmith that together for me. But the reality is, educate your customers. Take a few minutes. Let them know why. Don't just slap them with it and just say, well, it is what it is, man. Like, I want to make money too. Let's not take the brute approach. We want to build a bridge, have a conversation, and educate them. And the customer at the end of it, he goes, all right, well, he goes, give me a couple weeks. Let me look around, see if there's anybody else that I might be able to go with. He goes, I do appreciate your guys' work. You guys have been taking care of my lawn for, I think probably 5 or 6 years now, maybe longer. And he goes, can I do it for 32 this week, this year, and then 34 the year after? And I honestly told him no. I said, unfortunately, my price is my price. That's our overhead costs. We have our numbers baked in there. We know what we need to make, what we need to run for our business. I said, unfortunately, I won't be able to. I said, we have our costs. I need to run my business this way. I understand where you're coming from, but unfortunately, it won't be able to do that. And he goes, okay, no problem. I totally get it. I totally understand. So stand your ground there. Don't get nickel and dime by a couple bucks or a couple pennies, because you're like, oh, it's only $2. Well, $2 times 100 customers a week is $200 a week. That's $800 a month times 6, 7, 8 months. That's $5, 6, 8 grand that you guys are going to be leaving on the table. So I'm very we always used to say free estimates, or just go ahead, knock down that, old, playground structure, in their backyard that's full of weeds and it takes 20 minutes and no big deal. But now you can't be doing that when gas is $3 a gallon. You can't do that when you're paying your guys $22 an hour to run a whip and a mower or a blower, right? I mean, it's crazy. So I don't want to, nickel and dime the customers, but at the same point, I can't get nickel and dime to death, because $2 here, $4 here, $5 there, $1 here, that stuff adds up. And that's where you got these little 1%, 5%, 12% increases across the board add up. So that is a totally extra credit topic we were talking about today. That's the helping with the customer prices and just a little bit of maybe some rebuttals you guys might see on some of your rate adjustment letters. We had a couple people just cancel, straight up. They said, hey, it's getting a little pricier for us to mow than when we first signed up for you. Actually, that's another great little case study and topic is, I heard Keith Kalfa say, how you get them is how you're going to be able to keep them, or something like that. He's, again, more eloquent. He's a wordsmith. But it was a good point that if you sign somebody up for $25 and it should be a $45 cut, and let's say your first 2 years, you were the $25 guy. That was my life story. For the first 10 years, maybe you're new to the show and you just hear my story. My first 10 years, I was a $22, $20, $25 guy. And I didn't know that I should have been cutting my lawns in my area for 30, 35, 37s, 40s, 42s, right? And listen, I understand that you might think our prices are a little low. Sometimes you guys hear me quote these numbers. Pick your prices for your area, right? 50s, 60s, whatever you guys get. Other places, you guys get crap prices for mulch. You guys get great prices for mowing. over here we get, fair prices for mowing. We do decent on mulch. It all kind of averages out, right? But the bottom line is know your numbers, right? That's what we always say. But for over here, if you're getting 35, 37, 40s, 42s for a weekly cut like that, you are in high cotton. Like that is good money. And I'm extremely thankful because, any more that we can make for already doing the same amount of work, awesome. Well, we had some customers that we had got and we raised their price, like I was talking about earlier over the last 3 or 4 years. That was the biggest Achilles heel to my business was, oh, okay, well, like now I know my worth and now I know my numbers. Now I know my overhead, but how do I take 100 customers from like low pricing to fair pricing? And every year we would go through the same pruning process. We would lose 2 or 3 or 5 or 8 people. And, we'd, sell them on the phone. Hey, like what I just basically talked to you guys about our customer Matt, and we would salvage 6 out of 8 of those people. Which is, I think, 3/4. And then, we'd always lose 1 or 2 or 3. And so every year we're always, well, Brian, why are you still marketing? You've been doing this for 10, 15 years. Well, there's attrition to a business. I mean, even if you're a personal trainer, you got, 25 clients, no matter what, life is out there. People get sick, people have babies, people have kids, people get laid off, people get promoted, people move, people die. I mean, so I had a friend who was a personal trainer, had 25 to 27 or 40 clients a week he was managing. And he would always take on new leads and new clients and always be promoting his personal training business, his PT business. And I said, why are you promoting your PT business when you already got 27 clients and you're busy? He goes, because every month or 2, I lose 1 or 2 clients. He goes, it's there's the core people that stick and they're committed, but it's still a revolving door of commitment, in the industry, right? So there's always that attrition. Well, it goes full circle to our business is that we're always passing out postcards in the spring, passing out yard signs. We're always trying to market because we're still going to have some, 3, 5, 10% attrition to our customer to our customer base year over year. So my bottleneck was, how do I get these prices raised up and not lose people? So we had to do $3 and then $3 and then $3. And then, this last year I just said, you know what, I got to keep, setting the arm, right? Like my arm, like if I broke my arm and it didn't like heal correctly, well, sometimes you gotta like break it and then like reset it correctly, right? Like one of those deals. And I'm like, look, it grew back. It was healthy. It was okay, but it's still kind of like weird. I gotta break it and like reset it again. Well, that's why we like scream at the top of our lungs on these podcasts and any content that people put out these days. It's like, know your numbers. Well, like, because we don't want to see you guys get started as a $25 guy. And then, 4 years later, you're making a business of this thing. You're looking to go full time and leave your job. But you're like, man, like, all my prices are depressed at 25s instead of 40s and 50s. Or pick your guys' number. Maybe a weekly cut in your area is 60 and you're doing them all for 35, right? I was actually listening to Paul Jameson's Green Industry podcast book, Cut That Grass, Make That Cash. And we were doing cleanups the other day, and I probably got through half the book. It's only like 4 hours of audio. And so he was talking about getting some of these nicer Georgia homes that he was doing, and they're like $35 cuts that should have been $100. So Paul and I like both kind of came from that story of like we didn't know what we were doing, we didn't know the industry, we kind of like fell into it. But honestly, like I chose to go into the industry after a few years. I'm like, I love this. Nobody ever taught me or took me around their side and put their arm around me and said, hey, like, look at your prices, like make sure they're a little bit higher, like know your numbers. And so that's the conversation we've been having with all of you guys the last 12, 18 months. And gosh, it's just crazy. Like I'm getting DMs from you guys every single day, bidding on apartment complexes. I was just literally texting a guy a couple of minutes ago, DM on Instagram. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram, Brian's Law Maintenance, shoot me a DM. I get back with you. You guys are so shocked that like I get back to you. I'm like, why would I not get back to you? You guys shoot me a DM. Why would I not shoot you a DM back? Like apparently not everybody subscribes to that, and that's okay. But you guys are growing me. I'm growing you. We're all in this together. And one of you guys were like, yeah, I'm bidding this apartment complex. It's 25,000 square feet. I'm estimating it's a $105 or something like that dollar weekly cut. And he goes, the last guy was doing it for 70. The property management company told him. And he goes, I think 70 is a little low. I go, I don't know what it looks like. And respectfully, don't send me photos because I can't bid your guys' properties in person. There's so much more that goes into it. I get a lot of times people send me emails or photos like, hey, like what would you do to bid this? And I'm like, I don't really do anything bigger than an acre or a couple acres because I've got like my bread and butter, like my game plan, right? That's my wheelhouse. But for some of you guys that have these like, there's 200 unit condo complex, it's 38 acres and, 14 miles of sidewalk edging. I'm like, dude, I could partition it into simple math and then add it all up and put it all together, and it's kind of how you just do them the bigger bids anyway. But I don't know your $80,000 massive residential apartment complex contract. So, but all going full circle, the other guy was like, well, the property management company said, well, our other guy, he's going out of business, and so we need another contractor. And one of you guys that was texting me back and forth had said, thank God I listened to your know your worth talks and you have your rate adjustment letters and just follow your content to have perspective, because I knew that $70 was way too low. And that's probably why the other guy was going out of business. Like, that warms my heart. Like, that makes me smile, if you guys can tell. Just that you guys are out there making, let's say he does get the account and it's $30 more per week on a 30-week season. What is that, $900? That's $900 going to, somebody's family for braces, or, going to family night Applebee's on Friday, or putting your kids in private school, or, whatever you guys want to do. Buy a one wheel, something stupid. So that's my perspective, is that I'm so thankful and grateful that you guys are listening to the content. You guys are buying the rate adjustment letters and having these conversations with your customers. But for us, it's not uncommon to have some of these customer conversations to raise the prices, and it is a little tough. It's a little awkward. It's a little, not go to guns, but really just stick to your guns and hold your ground. Well, also, new customers that sign up, that's why we're so heavy into marketing right now, like more than the last 2 years and probably the last 5 years, because we had a good little business and we've been growing, but we've been losing customers. So it's like this constant, we have 100 customers and weekly properties that we manage between residential, commercial, and industrial buildings, but we're still trying to replace 5, 10, 15 people per year, because we're just actually pumpkin planning our business. If you guys know Mike Michalowicz, I think he's the author of Pumpkin Plan. I read that about 3 years ago. Somebody suggested to me, and I've been pumpkin plan pruning my business, getting rid of the bottom 10%, growing the top number, all that kind of stuff. So I'm literally doing this every single day with you guys. And now when customers call, or potential customers, prospects call, they're like, how much for weekly mowing? I go, $37, cut, trim, blow, edge. We bill end of month, charge card on file. They're like, oh, okay, honey, go ahead and sign me up. And it's an entirely different conversation than somebody who's an engineer saying, why did you raise my price 15%? And I'm like, Matt, it's $3, it's $4. Like, you're not going to lose sleep over it. I get it statistically wise, but when you say you're basically frustrated about the price going up for less than what a Starbucks costs per week. I said, honestly, I get it, but respectfully, I think we're kind of getting lost in the weeds here. And he goes, yeah, you're right. It is only $4. But again, that's the whole conversation about statistics. You guys listen to Michael Knowles. Michael Knowles talks about statistics, and he has some good thoughts and stuff like that. So anyway, so that's what we got. I've talked about the rate adjustments. We talked about raising prices, kind of handling some rebuttals. Talked about Jobbers Professional Day. Super cool to have them reinvest in the business. Just last thing I'll say is, man, I'm fired up. I'm fired freaking up. I'm so excited about what we got going on with our business, our life. We're going into a very fun season. Not only lawn care, landscaping. It just feels good to. I was talking to my boy Bedell for about 15 minutes today, driving back and from where I running some errands earlier. And I said, it feels good to be out here, man. He goes, it sure does. And he was actually driving to Ohio to give an Echo PB 8010 or 9010 maybe, then one of the new Echo blowers to somebody in Ohio. And maybe whoever that is, if that's you, shoot us a DM or screenshot or let us know. And excited for you. But I think it was somebody in Ohio, and he's just doing a little road trip, couple hours there, couple hours back, because it's like $1 million to ship something nowadays. And so Bedell was like, he goes, I got some time today, and just some car time and some podcast time, call some customers time, and he goes, it's just a change of scenery too, man, from just seeing the abysmalness of Michigan weather in winter, because the grass is already greening up in Ohio, man, at the time of this recording. It's crazy. So he was zipping over there, but we were just talking about thankfulness. We're talking about gratefulness. We're talking about the fact that this same time last year we were forced closed. So we lost out like 5-6 weeks of income, permanent loss of income, right? Like you can't, I can't go back and do the first rounds of FERT, or we can't go back and recoup those first 2-3 weeks of mowing, right? Permanent losses, if you will. That's what they call it. That's 15, 20, 25 grand. I'll never see again, unfortunately. So where am I at right now? Thankful, grateful. I was thankful and grateful last year, man. I'm one of the most thankful, grateful people you know. But man, it feels good to be out there. It feels good to be working. And I know a lot of you guys listening in feel the same way. Look, I'm not saying that it's always sunshine and rainbows. I'm not saying it's easy out there. I have customers cancel on me. Like I said, I had somebody return my letter and they just put CXL and they didn't even fill out the form. And I was like, well, like, could you at least have a conversation with me? Like, I have a wife and kids, you know, on the way and like family, and I want to take care of people. Just cancel. It's like, oh, okay, well, I guess you don't care about my business in life. Thanks for the partnership, right? And so that stuff happens. But the reality is that it always makes you thankful and grateful for the ones that stay. It makes you thankful and grateful for the ones that stick. It makes you thankful and grateful for the ones that renew year over year. I always just kind of have this spirit of thankfulness and gratefulness. Because I actually heard somebody that changed my perspective on it a couple years ago. It was Jeff Joyner, actually, the speaker at our live event last year, which, by the way, he's coming back this next year, 2021. So this year, he's going to be back up here this November. And he said, he told a story once, and he said, he saw a meme and it said, what if today you woke up and you only had the things that you had thanked God for the night before? Or something very eloquent like that. For instance, like, what if you only had today all the things that you gave God thanks and praise for yesterday? Whether you believe or don't believe, like person of faith or not, like just get the concept. And it's like you walk around all day. What you don't have typically is what most people walk around like kicking rocks saying, man, I wish I had this. Man, I wish I had more subscribers or followers or fans or customers or money or, you know, this or that or like, you know, whatever. Instead, you know, look at the glass half full. And you know, I'm a very pragmatic, realistic person too. But at the same point, I'm thankful. Like, I'm thankful that we do have a couple bucks in the bank. Like, I'm thankful that our business like didn't implode. Like we burned through cash, but like we still have a great customer base, people that appreciate us and support us. I'm thankful for all of you guys that listen in every day, whether things are growing or not growing. I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned on YouTube again because I was talking about my governor more. So you guys want to be famous on social media? I'll tell you what, man. You might want to think otherwise. But hopefully any day now we get unshadow banned from YouTube because I can tell when my content's being pushed down, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you, you know, because I can give you stats and I can show you screenshots. So I'm thankful for the content that we do have out there. I'm thankful for the views that we do get. I'm thankful for the customers. I'm thankful for Rob coming back. I'm thankful for our second employee, Dave, who's coming back full time. And, you know, versus being like, well, this stinks and this sucks. And, you know, this is out of my control. Right. And all this kind of stemmed from a conversation I had with Caleb and Brittany Allman yesterday. We went down to Findlay, Ohio. We were just kind of hanging out for the day. It was halfway point for both of us. And we just grabbed lunch. And got to hang out for a couple hours and one little, not Benihana, but it was what do they call that? Hibachi. We went into a hibachi restaurant. And by the way, we were there at lunch. They opened at 11:30. I think it's called Japan West. Great little hibachi place if you guys are in the greater Findlay area. By the way, downtown Findlay was actually super cute. They had like a dozen restaurants down there. When we were looking for food, I'm like, I would try any of these places. I need to double back to Findlay, right? And but you know what? We went in there for lunch, and so it was fun just hanging out with them. And it was actually really fun. The guy John, who was our hibachi chef, is the white dude, but working at the hibachi place, and older guy, 50-year-old guy, and he commutes every day from Toledo, and he was like, hey, we're so glad that you guys joined us for lunch today. He goes, things have been pretty slow last couple of weeks, last couple of months, obviously. He goes, we weren't even doing lunches half the time, and he goes, this is my full-time gig. I've been here for quite a while, and he goes, we're so grateful and thankful that you guys are here today to join us. He goes, love to get started. So started taking our food orders and all that kind of fun stuff, right? But he was thankful. He was thankful and grateful. And I was like, man, first off, it feels good to be appreciated. That's always one. We always tell our customers P's and Q's and thank yous, right? But number two, like, it felt good to support him. But then we went out to just a random park and baseball field, and we ran a podcast board for the Almonds. They have the Kid Contractor podcast, and we were able to run the board off a battery pack. So we're just at this baseball diamond. It's like 60 degrees, sunny, beautiful day, right? And we were just talking about, what's the biggest takeaway from last year over this year? What's like the thing you're looking most forward to this year? And I said, well, I said, that's a loaded question, bro. I said, I'm having a baby, my first baby. We are building our home, first home, dream home. I said, life is good. Like we're working our butt off, like in front of the screen and behind the screen, like just trying to do as much as we can to grow. I'm sincerely just trying to grow my life and your guys' life. Like, man, let's make money. Let's get rid of the pain and the problems that we all have. And unfortunately / fortunately, money solves like 90% of them, right? And so I don't want to go deep on that one right now, but I said the biggest takeaway is I'm grateful. I'm grateful and thankful. I'm thankful for what I have. I'm grateful for what we have. I'm thankful for what we're going to get, what we're growing into, what we got coming. And I said, man, when you start having things get taken away from you, whether financially or you're shut down or your freedoms or your choices, it just really makes you appreciate what you can do. You know, and when you get it back, you're like, man, I'm so thankful that we're able to do this. Like, you know, a little funny story. We went to Orlando a couple weeks back. Family had a timeshare. Somebody gifted it to my side of the family. So we were down there for a week, and talk about gratefulness, thankfulness. When we were down there, we had this little condo, little tiny ass condo, and the main room was I think a king bed or a queen bed, and then the other bedroom you can tell was like for kids, and it was two. What is it? Twin beds or full beds? Like they were very, very tiny beds. Okay. And so my wife and I are on one bed. My brother and sister-in-law, they're on the other bed. And I'll tell you about thankfulness and gratefulness. Well, my brother and sister-in-law snore. They snore like you wouldn't believe, like freight train coming through snoring. I mean, 3 a.m, full, one's through the nose, one's through the mouth. You know, they had this like, at one point, I think they succinct with each other and they were like, and I'm just like, are you guys playing like DJ over there? I literally thought it was Deadmau5 over there. I'm just kidding. Some of you guys are probably listening to this going, what the heck is Fullerton talking about now? I literally recorded it at 3 a.m. I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous that this stuff is going on. Well, and then also my wife and I, who's pregnant, so she needs to sleep on her back, right? Or her side. Frankly, I'm not sure. It's one of the two, but she took up 2/3 of the bed. So your boy here is laying sideways the whole time. And I literally after the third day, between the sleeping, or the lack thereof because of the snoring, and then also laying on my side, my whole like left side was like in pain, like just pressure pain. We're sleeping on these like, you know, military cots. It felt like there was no bed here. Okay. And the reality was I was so thankful when we got home to go to sleep in my bed, right? We have a purple mattress, right? A lot of you guys saw an Instagram post that said, I'm like, I love my purple mattress. And you guys are like, do you really like your purple mattress? How do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, I love my purple mattress. But it was just funny because I was so thankful. I was so thankful to be back in my own bed. So when we're talking about last year, we were forced shut down and the lockdowns, this year we can work. Well, I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful. And things are good. Things are good. So I told Caleb, I said, I heard a speaker once say on something, I don't even know. He said, usually it's not as bad as it is, and usually it's not as good as it is. It's usually somewhere in the middle. Keep perspective. And I said, yeah, that's pretty fair. If you're having a bad day, I understand the circumstances probably suck, but it's probably not a whole bad day, right? Maybe you're having a great day. Maybe you think you're awesome. And you are, but you're not maybe as awesome as you know what I'm saying. So that was the reality. I said, but that Florida trip, the sleeping conditions, that was actually miserable. So it was one of those things where you're thankful and grateful, right? Let me see if I can do this really quick here. I don't know if you guys can hear that. If you're listening in the truck, you can probably hear this. I'm playing some snoring sounds. So that's enough of that. My brother and sister-in-law, God bless them. I love them. But I took a video recording of them snoring, and literally at one point they were playing off each other like it was a little beatbox competition. And I said, how did you guys do that? How did you guys do that? I literally thought they were messing with me at 4 a.m, 3 a.m. I literally was up at 4 a.m. every day answering you guys back at DMs. And somebody got back to me. They said, why are you even up right now? I said, I don't sleep much anyway, but I'm definitely not sleeping this week. So anyway, down in Florida, by the way, love Florida, loved Orlando. We went to, some of the outer parks of Disney. We didn't do any of the parks. Liz was pregnant, so can't do roller coasters. But we did do a helicopter tour, so that was actually super fun. One of you guys booked a helicopter tour after seeing my post because you guys were going down to Disney any day now. So that's really cool. And then also we did the gator boat. What do they call those things? Oh gosh, I need a hand right now. I need some help. The airboats, right? Is that what it's called? An airboat tour? absolutely crazy seeing gators in the wild, man. That was wild. We went through this huge Wild Willie's. If you guys ever go to Orlando, Florida, I think it's Kissimmee area, maybe 30 minutes east of Kissimmee. It was Wild Willie's airboat ride tours. Man, that was a wild ride for sure. And then we got to hold a little 3-foot long gator, baby gator at the end. I'm telling you what, man, like it was full on. So, all right, well, guys, that's what I got for you today. Just a little weekly recap. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Thankful for the season to be here. Thankful for all of you guys listening to the show. Thank you for the ratings and reviews, for real. My goal is to get this to 1,000. We got like almost 800. You guys have been dropping a lot of them lately. Thankful for you guys that are investing in the Whole Ball of Wax and the Hardscape Academy promotion. Limited time promotion. We only got a couple more weeks left of that. We've got some great reviews and testimonies that have been coming in. And then also thankful and grateful for Jobber for sponsoring today's episode. And then also bringing you guys all the content that they did with Jobber Professional Day. So guys, that's what I got for you today. Let's kick it back over to Marty in the ATL to wrap this thing up, but appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll be here Monday morning for you guys starting next week.
It's hard to be optimistic when you've got a misty optic, or so I've heard. I really am optimistic that the Whole Ball of Wax promotion will stretch into April. Everything at launchpreneuracademy.com, 2 coaching calls with Brian, and the training courses and Q&A from the Hardscape Academy for only $999. And that includes lifetime access and upgrades to everything at Launchpreneur Academy. Why would you not take advantage of this? We did have an interesting question that came in from several people this past week who had purchased individual training programs in the past, and they were wondering how could they get the Whole Ball of Wax without taking the financial hit on things they had previously bought. So Brian, out of the goodness of his blessed little heart, said if you've bought items in the past and you want to upgrade to the Whole Ball of Wax, he's good with refunding you your previous purchase, so you can certainly apply that amount towards the upgrade. Here's what I would do. Just send Brian a DM or grab his email address off the About Us page at launchpreneuracademy.com and start that dialogue. He'll walk you through that. Guys, don't let this offer pass you by. It will not last much longer.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.